When you have your girls, you're never alone. You get together for coffee, maybe to work out, or just to laugh. We created Hey Girl, just for you. Can't wait for you to join us.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Hey Girl. I'm your girl Kim with an E, and this is episode 64. Hey, if you're joining us for the first time, I'm here to let you know that Hey Girl is a safe space where you can share your experiences and be affirmed. Let's face it, life can be complex and sometimes overwhelming. That's why we believe in the power of conversation, because knowing you're not alone is what helps you get through. How is everyone doing today? I feel like I have not talked to you in a while. I know I popped in briefly last week, but we had to do a rerun of an earlier episode because it has just been a crazy couple of weeks. I don't know if you can relate, but we're here now, and I'm so excited about the show that we have in store for you. Say hello in the comments. Let me know that you are here. And I'm especially excited because we are in the month of July. We have a brand new theme. It's summer fun, life hacks, practical living. We've got all kinds of things in store for you this month. So come on in the room. And once you get in here, go ahead and press like and share. Now, I want to know, what is everyone's favorite thing about summer? Our theme this month is all about summer and sunshine and fun. So tell me in the comments, what is your favorite thing? When I think about July, I think about vacations. I feel like everybody's getting their vacations in the month of July, heading to the beach or to the pool and trying to soak up a little more sun before we have to go back to life and the grind that usually comes with the fall season. And of course, next month we will be talking about the going back. In particular, going back is going to be different this year, right? We've been in a pandemic and a shutdown for over a year, and things are starting to open up, and it's going to be very interesting to see what that looks like. So be sure to tune in next month. Our theme will be going back and what that means. But we don't want to think about that right now. We want to think about summer and fun and sunshine. And so I want you to tell me in the comments, what is your absolute favorite summer activity? So when I think about that, I immediately think of two things, and you're going to laugh, but it's okay. My favorite things about summer are the beach and rainy year cherries. Yes, I said cherries. I don't know what it is, but in the summer, it's the only season that these cherries come out. Are y'all familiar with them? They're like yellowish, orangish, got a little pink kind of on them. And they only come out in the summer. Oh my goodness, they are so good. I love cherries. I love cherries anyway, being cherries and the other, but it's the Rainier ones that are really, really special. If you have not tried them, run, don't walk to your nearest grocery. And then, of course, the beach. There is just a real thing. I don't know if they have it in the psychology books, but I believe there is something medicinal in sand. I'm telling you, it takes all of 5 seconds for me to get my feet in some hot sand, and I immediately feel the stress melt away. So whenever I get to the summer season, I am trying to get to somebody's beach. I hope you guys are able to get to the beach this month and get some of that beach therapy that is so, so important. And I want to know, tell me in the comments, have you heard about the Rainier cherries? And do you love them as much as I do? Listen, I'm telling you, they're amazing. You must try them out. So guys, don't forget to check out my Spotify. I just want to put a little plug in. I was listening to my Spotify playlist for Hey Girl, which is called Never Alone. I was listening to it today, as a matter of fact. And it's just, I must admit, I have put together an amazing playlist. And it's just for you guys. It's for us. It's about reminding ourselves that whatever stresses of life we may be dealing with, we're not alone. We're in this together. And listen, those words in some of those songs are just ministry. They just remind us that God is with us, more importantly, and He understands where we are and what we're dealing with. So check out the Spotify playlist. I've shared it before. I will share it again in the comments, and just add it to your playlist. Maybe you have Spotify already, and I really want you to check it out. especially if you feel like you need a little uplifting right about now. Also want to remind you to check out the justkim.net page where I have some other goodies for you, some downloadables, some other encouraging materials that I want you to access. So remember to stop through every now and then, and I will be updating those downloadables very, very soon. But if you haven't already checked out the 5 keys to a successful marriage and the Hey Girl Planner Sheet, go ahead and check it out. So one of the other things that I think about with summer is cleaning. Don't ask me why. I just think that there's something about the longer days and the warm days that it just feels like we should be, making a fresh start in some way, cleaning out our spaces, kind of making a new start in one way or another. We get a chance to kind of reset. The kids are home and things are just a little working at a little bit slower pace. And so that's kind of the idea behind the theme this month. It's summer fun, but it's also life hacks and how we can kind of get our lives together and make them the best that they can be. And I feel like we have a chance here just before we go back, right, to school and the grind of the fall season. We have a chance to kind of rev up and get ourselves in a good place. And so the guest that I have for you to introduce you to today is a good friend of mine. And as soon as I said cleaning, I was like, oh, Darcel Forde, because honey, she is the queen of clean. All right. Like you could eat off of the floors in her house. That's just how good she is at this. So I immediately thought of Darcel when I thought about clean slate and getting your life organized. And thankfully, she agreed to join us today. So I would like to introduce you to my very dear friend, Darcel Forde. If you just put your hands together in the chat, give her a hand clap and welcome. And hey, girl, hey, welcome. Uh-oh, you're muted.
Hey,
There it
Kim.
is. Hey, Doris, how are you?
I'm fine. How you doing?
Good. I'm great. And I'm so
Good.
happy to see your smiling face. I know
Oh,
this is not your thing,
yeah.
but I appreciate you coming anyway.
This is not my thing. Yeah, yeah.
And you did it because you love me. Go ahead, admit.
Only because I love you, because I was like, okay, this is gonna be really awkward. Because I'm a face-to-face kind of person.
I
So,
know. I know. So hopefully at some point, guys, maybe we can make this happen. Everything's opening up. Maybe at some
yeah,
point we can do an in-person Hey Girl
yeah.
episode or start doing that. Okay, Amanda, take note. Let's see if we can make that happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know you more. But just imagine that we're in the same room and we're just, talking over a cup of tea. I should have told you to bring your teacup. Just
And I
to
started to,
pretend.
but I
Mm.
can yell downstairs for some, but that wouldn't be good. So that's all right.
It's all good. Everybody go get your teacup and we'll just or get your imaginary one and we'll pretend like we're having a nice little chat here together. So I actually haven't talked to you in a while, like really talked to you. It's
It's
been
been a
kind of a
long time.
high. Yeah. So this is kind of a chance for us to get caught up. And I'm interested in knowing what's been going on in your life. So first of all, I'm introducing you to my audience here, and some of them may know you already. Say hey, Darcel, if you know her. But for those who don't, why don't you give us a little bit about where you're from? Chicago. Chicago.
Well, let's
Talk
see.
about that.
Talk about where I'm from. Okay, I am originally born and raised in Chicago, South Side. Yo, South Side. Um, Born to really old parents. What can I say? Sent to Oakwood College. Then it was Oakwood College by force. I really wanted to go to Howard University, but my mother had other plans for me. Um, Graduated with a degree in social work and
Mhm.
worked as a social worker for a number of years. Then I got a master's degree in management and human resources and pretty much hated every job I had until right now.
Wow. So this is really the perfect conversation because, as I said, when I think about, the whole cleaning and getting your life in order, I'm also talking about maybe some of us need to make a change and clean up our lives in other ways. Maybe,
Right.
take that leap of faith and start that business or, make some relationship changes. I don't
Hmm.
know. But that's a thing. That's a
Yeah.
thing. So it's interesting that you got an education, you got an undergraduate and a master's degree and working good jobs, but hated it. Why do you think that is? What was it about those things
I
that didn't fulfill you?
I think I did not. Well, one, I really, really believe that in high school, maybe around junior years, definitely your sophomore year, that they should probably have um, some kind of testing of high schoolers to kind of see where your niche is, what you gravitate to. I never had that. I grew up in a medical family and I thought I wanted to go into medicine and until my dad got sick and I realized I don't want to do that. I don't want to touch anybody's waste or anything like that. That's not for me. So then I went to Oakwood and just kind of went to a number of different degrees trying to figure out what I wanted to do and kind of landed on social work. And I did enjoy that for a brief moment, but then I realized that I'm the kind of person that I like to see the needle move a little bit. And unfortunately, in social work and in our country, the needle, if it moves very slowly. And I just feels like there's got to be something else better than that. So that's why I went and got a master's degree in something else. But then I realized that, okay, I don't know if I like this either. So, it just goes back. I really wish I had that kind of
Mm.
somebody to give me testing to see where my talents lies. And I don't know. I often think that I should have become a stand-up comedian. I really do. I
Oh,
think
yes.
that probably would have been high on the list, but it didn't happen.
Definitely.
It didn't
I
happen.
know. I think that would have been a great career for you.
I
It's
think
not too
so
late,
too.
honestly. It's not too
It's
late.
not too late. It is not too late. I'm sure there's somebody that would want to listen to me and my corny jokes. I don't know. My take on
Well,
life.
yeah, but I mean, what you just described, I think many people can relate to. Who in the world knows what they want to do at 17, 18, 19 years old for
Exactly.
the rest of their life? That's
Exactly.
a huge responsibility to place on a teenager. I have one in my house and I see how hard it is for her to kind of figure out what the path is. And there's this pressure to impress the adults in your life too, right?
Right.
So people are always going to say, "Oh, what are you going to study? What do you want to be when you grow up?" And so they got to, it's like, think of a good answer real quick. It's like, "Oh, I
Exactly.
want to be a doctor." "Oh,
Exactly.
good, good, good." And so that's affirmed. And whether or not that's what the child really wants, it's like, well, everybody say that's a good idea. So I guess I'll
Yeah.
just go with it.
Yeah, just go with
And
it.
until you reach a certain point in your life where you're like, why did I choose this path? This is not what I'm good at.
Because
It's not
I
what I want.
know so many people that majored in wonderful, big, fabulous careers. I know many people that majored in medical field in as a lawyer, and they just turned around and they're doing something totally different. Like I have a friend who's a lawyer, and he has a food truck. Go figure.
Mm. And you're
But I
like,
mean,
wow,
his passion was cooking. And
yeah,
I guess if he had been introduced to, again, something to help him to realize where his talents lies, he probably could have saved a lot of money.
that's
A
something.
lot of
Yeah, maybe something that we need to think about. And next month we're going to be talking to some teachers and school administrators. I'm gonna, see
Yeah.
what they think about that. Maybe we should rethink some of our educational practices. I've had conversations with my daughter about practical life things, and she's like, "Wow, why don't they teach us this in school?"
Exactly.
There should be a
Exactly.
class for like practical life stuff.
Exactly. I
So yeah,
actually, even would be great if they taught entrepreneurship.
yeah.
I think that's a wonderful idea
I mean,
because
because
I think
water should.
everybody can probably turn whatever career they've gone into. You don't always have to work for somebody. You could probably branch out and do this on your
Find a
own and do
way.
something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw a commercial today. I don't remember what the company was called, but it was a Black woman who has started something that is some kind of her business is basically fostering and supporting and helping other Black. I don't know if it's just females or if it's Black in general who are wanting to be entrepreneurs. Basically, a way to
Right.
kind of to cultivate that
Right.
that um, option that maybe people didn't even realize they had or
Right.
that was available to them, and particularly our people. Because typically, for African Americans, the reality is we're raised typically in homes that the focus is just get a job. It's
Absolutely.
not create your business. It's like, listen, do what's going to be consistent and reliable and,
Exactly.
not
Get
necessarily
that
chase your dream.
education.
Yeah,
Hmm.
right.
Yeah.
But you found that that wasn't working for you. And so you decided to make a change.
Well,
Can you tell us
actually,
how you managed?
it it wasn't my choice to make a
Hmm.
change, but um, the last job I had, I worked at NASA as an organizational development specialist for a number of years, and that was when,
Sorry. Can you take the microphone part is rubbing on your shirt. So if you just kind of lift it away from your shirt, it won't get that staticky noise. You're good. Oh, bring it close to your mouth though. Go ahead.
okay, I'm probably fidgeting. Am I doing
It's
okay?
fine.
Because I'm keep trying to
Great.
I'm trying to not look at Kim and look at the camera,
No,
but I
you're
keep
fine.
dropping
Keep
down looking at Kim. Okay.
just
Anyways,
keep
what was I
the pin
saying?
off of your shirt.
Hmm.
Just keep the wire off of your shirt, but keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
So you were at NASA.
Okay. So I worked for a number of years at NASA as an organizational development specialist, and this was during the time of Obama was coming in office, and so a lot of programs were getting cut. Working in HR, I knew where we knew where the layoffs were going to be, and my department was going to be laid off. And so we worked right up to it, laid off, and I knew I was going to go home. And at that time, I had an infant, so I was like, well, I'll just go home until he's ready to go to school, and which I did. But the problem is when he went to school, I was out of work for about 5 years at that time, and getting back into the workforce was very difficult for me. And so I always tell females that, think about starting a family, that's wonderful, but just know that if you're going to take off some time with your child, realize it's going to be kind of hard to jump back into the workforce, because they could hire a fresh out and pay them a lot less than you, which was in my situation. Technology, things change, and you might not have kept up with stuff. So at that point, I realized, okay, well, I've got to work. What am I going to do? I thought about it for a minute and realized that, working a pole was not going to work for me. I just, it's not going to work in my life.
I'm
Although
so
I'm sure there's somebody out there that appreciates stretch marks, it was just not going to work for me. So I decided to start my own consulting business. I have a black belt in Lean Six Sigma, which is a process improvement certification. And so I decided to go to different businesses and work with them on improving their space, their organizational space, improving. I did a lot of work with doctor's office, working from the front office to the back office to make sure that everything flows efficiently. And I just happened to be at a doctor's office working there for about 2 weeks. And he said, you know what, this is really good. You got us together. Do you know anybody that does commercial cleaning? And I said, I do. Never done commercial cleaning a day in my life, but I do like cleaning. So I was like, okay, yeah, I do. And so he was like, well, great, let's make an appointment. Let's get together and see what we can arrange. And I went home that night, and it took me about a day and a half, and I got all the necessary licenses that I needed to do commercial cleaning. And that's how I got started. Had no
wow.
intention of doing commercial cleaning at all. So it just kind of worked out
Wow.
that way.
Fell in your lap, literally.
I'm in my lap, literally.
That's awesome.
But I was able to work my own time, work my own pace, be there for my children when I needed to pick them up from school. I didn't have to worry about asking somebody, can I take off to go with my child to a school event, or if my child was sick. Um, I need to call out because my child is sick, and people look at you kind of crazy when you
Mm.
do that. So in that regards, it was good for me. It was good for me to do this.
That is fantastic. So my question is, you figured out what to do. First of all, you on a whim said, yes, I have a commercial business. And then in a day and a half, you managed to actually create one.
Pull one
What was
together.
that? Walk us through that process. Because I know there's people out there going, huh?
Well,
Like you didn't have to like really plan this out in advance. How did you pull that together so fast?
it
Or
was
what advice could
helpful.
you offer?
It was
Yeah.
helpful to plan this out. But what I did is I just went online and started looking at other commercial cleaning companies and see what commercial cleaning entails because I did not know. And then I just went online and started seeing the business licenses I needed to get for commercial cleaning. I was fortunate to have a husband as a graphic artist, so he pulled a logo together for me. And then I had a friend who does websites. And I said, hey, I'll do your closets. I'll do whatever if you can pull together a website for me. And so she did. And that's how it is. So I've been uh, going now for about 6 years. It's still a learning process because I still learn something new every day that I needed to do that I probably should have done 3 years ago. But, the government hasn't come and arrested me. So it's all good. It's all good.
Awesome. I'm so glad. I'm so glad it's working out. So now that you're 6 years in and you're looking back at some of those lessons learned, can you offer to those who might be considering starting their own business a couple of those lessons that you've learned, maybe in hindsight, that you can help them avoid maybe the pitfalls?
Well, one thing is it would be really nice to have a nest egg. Don't just jump right in there because you have to get licenses and that sort of thing. And if it wasn't for the fact that my husband was really supportive on this, I might have been in trouble and it might have delayed a number of things that I wanted to do. So have a little nest egg if you can, put something to the side because you're going to need it. You're gonna need it for different things. And then of
Yeah.
course I did not have any tools. I had no, vacuum cleaner. I had my own vacuum cleaner, but I didn't
Right.
have rags, dust rags, cleaning solutions. I had none of that. So I had to go and purchase those things. Um,
Mhm.
and purchase them from the store is a little expensive. If you go to Walmart, Target, or something like that, it's a little expensive. But you need to start looking out for, especially in commercial cleaning, you need to look out for different cleaning companies that can sell you solutions and whatnot at a much cheaper rate. But that's stuff that I learned later on down the line. But yeah,
Yeah.
it worked out.
Yeah. Yeah. And so are you a one woman show or do you have a team working with you?
So I started out as one woman.
Well, we
And
kind of figured that
yeah,
since
I
it
kind
was
of figured. I started out as one woman, but now I have 5 people. I have five
okay.
people working with me, and I have a list of other people that I have met with. We're doing that are kind of hired on contingency. We're doing some training with them so that when I do have other work, because I've started doing looking out for other businesses. Uh, Looking at RFPs for different things like the Huntsville Madison Library and things like that, and different government entities. And but I need to have the staff trained and ready to go when those things come. So we still have some other people that are in the pocket waiting.
Yeah. Well, I definitely, well, everyone who doesn't know Darcel probably can tell also that she's very resourceful and she will make a way. She'll find a way to make it happen one way or another. So I think that probably is a good trait to have if you're wanting to start a business. You got to be able to think on your feet and, kind of adjust where needed.
And tell
So,
those small lies like you
uh,
have a commercial cleaning company, you don't.
hey, it was not a lie, it was prophecy. You were prophesying
There you
that you
go.
would
There you go.
have a
That's
commercial cleaning
it
and
was the
and
Holy
it came to
Spirit.
pass.
It was the
Yeah,
Holy Spirit telling
that's
me.
what it was. That's what it was. Um, so okay, Okay, and then it's perfect that it was a cleaning company that you decided to do, because obviously this is you. This is what you do. And I remember the first time I visited your house, I didn't even know you, but I was like, "Oh, this place is clean." I couldn't find a speck of dust anywhere. So, can you help those of us who are a little challenged in that area? Because obviously this is what you've been helping people do, is get organized and to clean their spaces. Well, let me back up. Hold on, before you give us some of that help, tell us what all your company offers. Is it just cleaning in terms of scrubbing and stuff, things like that, or do you also incorporate like organization and things like that?
Right. Well, what has happened? I started out doing the professional workplace organizing, but commercial cleaning has actually taken over. So I'm doing
Okay.
more of that than anything. But when
Hmm.
I meet with clients, it's pretty much your office, traditional office cleaning, floors, windows, shelving, anything like that, anything to make your office space look clean and tidy for your clients, whoever comes through. Um, but I also tell them I also have an organizing side to this, because you'd be
Hmm.
surprised, you're not surprised, it's not surprising at all, but you go into a lot of offices and you'll see the desks just piled with papers all over
Hmm.
the place, and it just looks disorganized, and it doesn't make for a good work environment. It really slows your productivity down, so I do offer that as well. A lot of times people will say, oh, I know where everything is, I don't need anybody to touch anything, I know where everything is. And I'm like, yeah, okay, we'll see. And as I work with them, then they're like, well, maybe if you can help me just get the file room together. And so that's kind of my entry into
Yeah.
working with clients.
Yeah, yeah. I figured that organization piece was in there somewhere because I knew
Yeah.
you were doing that. And I'm glad you all can't see beyond this camera because my desk is like many of those desks that you just described. So we'll talk later. We'll talk later. But yeah, so for those of us who are challenged in that way, particularly with organizing, what are some of the first things that you suggest for your clients to do in order to, begin to get it together?
Well, I tell people to start small. Rome wasn't built in a day. So start small, start a small area. And even for me, uh, even though my house might be clean, don't open up a door. Don't open up a closet because you might get hurt. But I started with the closet in front of my house and took all that out and just put back things that I absolutely needed in the front closet, and coats. Uh, what else I have in there? I have my wedding dress that is still in the garbage bag. 22 years now. That's there.
Okay.
I
I'm
never knew what.
assuming that doesn't have any symbolic or a meaning.
No, I just didn't know what to do with the wedding dress. I just like, okay, now what do I do with it? And my mother's like, well, I'll just hang it up in the closet. And 22 years later, it's still in the same garbage bag that my mom hung it up in. And it's in a different closet. So
Uh,
that's there. But start small and just put back things only that you need. And the front closet is usually a place where people drop off a lot of junk. And then
mm-hmm,
from there, I would go like to your bathroom. There's
mm-hmm,
uh, there's a lot of stuff that you don't need in your bathroom that you can get rid of. Different kind of baskets and things to put things in, like things in. And for you, the females out there, the sisters out there, you have a lot of makeup that you probably need to trash that is either old, um, outdated now. Colors are crazy, so you need to move on. And you probably just need
mm-hmm.
to throw it away. Just throw it away.
Yeah. I think that's probably the hardest thing when it comes to getting organized is being able to let things go,
Right.
literally just to get them out. Because we tend to, I think that's how we get cluttered in the first place is we just hold on to everything. And then next thing you know, we're just overwhelmed by all the things.
Right.
And so I think kind of the buzzword these days is being a minimalist, but
Right.
it can also be an intimidating thing because you're like, oh my gosh, I could never be a minimalist because everything seems important. Um, how do you help people make that distinction between what they should keep and what they should release?
Well, there was a book that was done some years ago. Gosh, and now that I'm here, the name kind of escapes me. Maria Kondo, I think
Oh
it's
yeah.
a lady that has wrote this book, and I read it, and it's only keep things that express joy, right? And get rid of things that don't. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I read it, I was like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. But and this is just me, I think for Americans, we live in excess
Mm-hmm.
and we buy even though we don't need it. And we just keep holding on to stuff. Example, when I did my closet, I had clothes in there when I was a size 4, size 6. Now, I'm never going to be a size 4 again. I would probably look like a walking head if I did. So why do I have these things in my closet?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just had to look at the closet and say, and this is where I think my rationale, my thinking is different from hers, is I had to look at that and say, you're not going to wear it, get rid of it. Come on. Not, not,
Yeah.
not, not what expresses joy, because a lot of it expressed joy, and then I get angry because I'm no longer a size 4. So
Right.
it's like, no, are you going to use this again? Are you going to wear this again? First of all, it's like 7 years old. Fashion has changed. Get rid of it, Darcel.
Yeah.
Shoes that
Yeah.
you've worn, the heel on the right side from driving is worn off. Why are you keeping it? Get rid
Yeah.
of it, Darcel.
Yeah. It's the self talk. You gotta just say
So
like, listen,
I
get
think
real.
as Americans, we
Yeah.
have to be really hard with ourselves and say, you don't need it, get rid of it. And
Yeah.
I don't say just throw things in the garbage, because I think everything is, if it hasn't been
Mhm.
really worn out, is purposeful. And
Yeah.
donate a lot of stuff to charity. There's a family shelter here that takes
Hmm.
the entire family, because most shelters just take in, you separate you by sex, males on one side, females
Right.
on the other. But there's a family shelter here, and pots and pans, stuff like that. I found myself when I got to the kitchen having 3 sets of cookware. You don't need 3 sets of cookware.
Well, you know what it is too. You buy the new set, but you
Right.
don't get rid of the old set.
Exactly. Right. You don't.
I don't know why. So
So
yeah, it's what we
you
do.
just have to you have
Yeah.
to really strong talk with yourself and say, I don't need this for
Right.
real. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
Yeah.
And in that way, it helps to minimize some of the clutter that you do have.
Yeah. So I went on a YouTube channel called Clean My Space. I can't remember the lady's name. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
Hmm.
And she was offering suggestions or tips for how you can kind of be more of a minimalist or live more of a minimalist lifestyle. And so I'm
Mhm.
going to share a few of hers and get you to kind of comment on them. Some of them you have already said, in fact. But I loved her first one, which was that we need to learn to this for you. I thought you. And so she's like, learn to say no. If it's truly not something you want or need,
Right.
don't just take it because it's free, basically.
Exactly. Don't just take it because it's free. And I had to teach myself to do that, because
Yeah.
if it's free, why
Right. And
not?
and
Why
so
not?
you take it because it's free, not because you really want it or need it.
Not because you want it or need it. Not at
And
all.
honey, my husband, he'll take five because it's free. Right? Like
Exactly.
so
Exactly. And I don't know if it's
yeah.
because I was born, and I jokingly say this, but truly I was. I was born to old parents. So my parents were brought up in the Depression. So they held on to anything and anything free they took. But
Mm,
even now, I have to, like, okay, Darcel, for real. We went on a vacation, and especially in the business that I have, I got masks, right? And I got cases of masks, right? Face masks.
mhm.
And we went on the airline, and they were giving away. Now everybody has their pack of masks, right? All my children,
Right.
my husband, and we went on the airline. They gave us A pack of masks. And so I sat there like, why am I taking their mask when I got 10 in
Right.
my purse right now?
Free. It's free. That's why.
It's free, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, okay, so maybe the masks you can keep because that's useful. But if they gave you a pack of keychains, then you'd be like,
Yeah, and like when you go to different conferences and they'll give you pens
yes,
and
yeah,
pads, notepads and stuff like that. You don't need that. You
yes.
really don't need that.
That, you know what, that will probably save half of my desk right there is the notepads and the pens that are really just taking over. They multiply somehow.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, but you also said something that's important, and she said it as well. It's if it's your room, your bedroom closet, maybe just start with organizing your dresses or your
Right.
pants, and let that be because those small wins will motivate you to
To do
continue
other things.
doing the rest.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice because I that's me. It's like, oh, I want to do the whole thing today. It's just like I'm exhausted and I've barely made it through one room.
And 2 hours into it, you're like, you know what? Enough of this already, and you'll shove everything back in there and
Shove
go.
it back.
So
Exactly.
it's like, yeah,
Exactly.
just take a little
Yeah.
bit at a time. Start with something small. I wouldn't even start, honestly, in your bedroom or the garage. I would start something small first, get a win, a
Mm-hmm.
yay, a sigh of relief, of accomplishment, and
Yeah.
then move on to something else.
Yeah. Maybe just the kitchen junk drawer. That's
Exactly.
a job right there.
Yes.
I know
Because
mine was.
and I have done my junk drawer over several times because it constantly gets cluttered. So
Ah, right. Yeah, and I think that's also the frustrating thing. We're like, why am I gonna fix this up? It's gonna just get messy again. But I guess maybe that's another tip I just came up with all by myself. It's like be prepared to make this a part of your life. Like it's
right.
not like a one and done type
No,
thing.
no, 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 no. This is something
Yeah.
that you'll constantly have to do for the
Mhm.
rest of your life. And I tell people this also, you don't want to be that 70, 80-year-old that has a massive amount of stuff in your house that now your family has to try to cipher through
Ooh,
and get rid of. Oh my goodness, there's a cleaning. What I think it's the Swedish death cleaning. Have you ever heard of that?
no. What is that?
It's such a thing, Swedish death cleaning, where they go in and they do this. It's like this get rid of everything right then and there process, go through everything right then and there you don't want, so that when you do die, your family doesn't have to deal with that. And it's called the Swedish
Wow.
death cleaning, and
Wow.
it's a really big thing. And that's what people do. It's like you just go ahead and just start tossing stuff that you don't need, only things that you need to just live right now.
Wow.
It's kind of like the minimalist thing.
Yeah,
Just get rid of
extreme.
the clutter because you don't want your family to have to deal with that in the long run.
Wow, that's so interesting because basically that cleaning project is all the things that I don't want my family to have to deal with.
Exactly.
I'm gonna toss.
I'm going to toss.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's interesting. I
It's a
mean,
it's a
very
really
good idea
creepy
though.
name. It's a really creepy name.
Yeah,
Swedish death cleaning.
sounds
What are
terrifying,
you doing this
but
weekend? Oh, I'm doing some Swedish death cleaning.
right. It's like, oh, okay.
Okay. Well, no, we're not going to her house this weekend or ever.
Right, right. um, Another good tip that she suggests is that we resist. We're uncomfortable with if it's like if the room doesn't have enough furniture, we go, oh, I need a chair, I need a table, I need a lamp, I need a rug, I need a. But she's like, resist the urge, like
Be
enjoy the
happy.
silence,
Mhm.
just yeah, breathe in the air, kind of thing. And I was like, wow, that's yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
How many of us? How many of us feel like we always got to put something on the wall or in the,
Exactly.
you
And
know?
just enjoy the quiet. This
Mhm.
through this pandemic, we I just decided that I wanted to redo my house. And my house was probably like a lot of people. It was that, that honey gold yellow on the walls with
Mm-hmm.
brown, rusting green interior colors
Yeah.
and whatnot. And to me, I just felt so, I just overwhelmed and heavy. Because when you think about it, those colors are kind of heavy, right? So I
Yeah.
just went through and I just said, you know what? I just want to change. And I got rid of a lot of stuff, furniture, lightened up everything, lightened up my walls. My walls are like white now.
Mm.
As my daughter says, asylum white. But anyways, it allowed me, but in clearing out all that clutter, it just allowed us to breathe. It,
Yeah.
it it's funny. It just got rid of the clutter and was just able to breathe and see what I have. And
Yeah.
I was amazed at so much junk that I had, and so much junk that I had in the closet because I bought. And
Right.
I was able to pull it out, and I was like, "Oh, that's a nice place for it now." So,
Yeah.
yeah,
There were
just
things that
to
you had that you weren't even able to use because
right because
there was
it
no
wouldn't
room for
fit
it.
with the decor that I had, and it just wasn't fitting with the mood that I was in at that time. Now I'm in a different headspace,
Yeah.
so I was able to get rid of those things and not have any problems with it.
Okay.
Hmm.
I just got a message from what you just said.
Yeah.
How many of you guys out there need to move some things out of your life
Hmm.
because there's something there that you're not even able to see
Hmm.
because some other things are taking up all that space.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh man, that's a word,
Yep.
and whether it's physical space, emotional
Yeah.
space, mental space, there's something that you probably need to let go of, get rid
Absolutely
of, so that you can enjoy what you already have.
right.
It's not
That's
even like
very
you got to
good.
go out and find it. It's already in your life.
That's a good one.
So, yeah, that's really, really good. And I think that's really what this whole conversation is about. It's what is it that we need to be doing in order for us to hear God's voice? What is it that we need to remove or quiet so that we can hear Him? And that might mean cleaning out your closet, organizing your bedroom, or it might mean clearing out some space on your schedule and on your calendar to just be still
Right.
and listen and be quiet. Um, and I want to bring up our scripture right now because that's exactly why I chose Mark for verse 19. Mercy. Did
Yeah.
did that resonate with anyone out there? I mean, that's what exactly what happens. We get busy worrying about the needs of life, and it chokes out what it is that God actually intends for us. So I hope that this conversation has helped all of us to think about the spring cleaning, summer cleaning theme a little differently and to appreciate the spiritual relevancy of it. It's not just the physical impact that we're talking about. So I think the work that you're doing, Darce, is fantastic. I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy that you have found what you are best at. I mean, I knew from day one this was what you were meant to do, and so it's just interesting that it just took a little while for you to get to the place, and God, open and close the doors to
Right.
allow you to get there.
But I
But
remember
you're,
how you
you're
guys would joke me all the time because I would be the
yeah,
first one in the kitchen, clean up and
yeah,
straighten up. And you're like, oh my gosh, why are you doing this? And
yeah.
I have often wondered with myself, what's my purpose? What is my purpose in life? What can I do? What's my talent? And I didn't know for many years. And
Yeah, but
I
it was
hate that
right
it
in
took so
front of you.
long.
Yeah, but you found it. All experiences, no experience is wasted. You
Right.
learn from every, job you've had, whether you hated it or loved it. In fact, you probably learned more from the ones you hated.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
but I think that your story also reminds us that our purpose is determined long before we get our first job,
That's true.
right? Long before we get that degree. God has implanted in each one of us a gift and a talent and skills, things that come naturally to us. And that's the key to knowing what your purpose is, whatever job you take.
That's
And you
right.
can fulfill your purpose, whatever job you have. So it's not when you get the dream job or when you start your business that you are accomplishing your purpose. You are accomplishing your purpose every single day when you live to the fullest in what God has given you and you
Absolutely.
use what he's given you for his glory. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just know that you already have what you need. It's
Yeah.
already there. Pull it out of the closet and get to work.
And you'll be happy. You'll be happy that you
Yeah,
decluttered not just your home, but your mind too. You'll be happy with it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, Darce. I love you.
Thank
And I
you. Love
wish
you too, babe. I haven't seen you in forever. I'd like to see you one day.
I know. Now that we're back to life, there's no excuse. So we'll
Absolutely.
definitely hook up.
Okay.
And thank all of you for being here today, for joining us for this conversation. We're going to keep talking about summer fun and life hacks so that you can live your best life. Next week, my girl Shayla Renee will be here. So, calling all brides, we're going to be talking about the DIY wedding and how you can make it fabulous, even if you're on a budget. Can't wait to see you. Have a great week. Until next time.